All right, let's go to this fucking team, the
That's
Toronto
two teams in a
Raptors.
row.
44 and a half is the lowest on the board at points bet. Superbook and Circa are at 46 and a half. So if you're going to have to fade the sharp books if you want the under, but that's the best number you can get. 45 and a half under is plus 110 at FanDuel. So you get a little extra juice if you play it at FanDuel if you're looking for an under bet. Let's just start here. What's your projection for the Raptors?
So I have them 18th on offense, 11th on defense, 38 to 48 wins. It's a higher variance team on my list. My similar teams, I'm not going to list them off, but it was a jarring, alarming list of teams. And 2 of the 8 teams that came out on my similarity scale finished above 500. That was shocking to me and made me rethink where am I at on the Raptors. They're basically running back a wonky, weird team. Like they're not similar to any of the teams on the list, really, because nobody is similar to this team. And I just think there's a lot more downside to this team than there is upside.
I do not think that this team is that good. I've never thought this team was that good. I didn't think this team was that good when they won the title. I will never think that this team is that good. And that's not a personal animus. It's just about how I evaluate their roster. I think Fred VanVleet is legitimately one of the most underrated players in the league. He's incredible. I think OG Anunoby is maybe the most overrated player in basketball internet. I think is in terms of basketball internet, he is the one player above all that I think is put up higher than he should be. Anthony Davis at least has detractors. OG Anunoby does not because nobody cares enough. So I thought there was value on the under last year because I thought there was a chance that they might tank. I think that they might have gotten there. If you had told me at the beginning of last year when I did the win totals analysis that Nick Nurse, known as one of the top 5 coaches in the NBA, was going to play his starters 35 to 40 minutes a night for 3 months, I would have been like, yeah, we're betting the over. They're going to play the starters all the time. They still have no bench. They don't have any centers. It's like Precious is good. I think Precious is I would say among centers because it's a low bar, right? Like we have Jokic and Embiid, and then we got we have Jokic and Embiid and Towns, and then we got like a lot of right?
Yeah.
So and Mobley, right? We'll put him up there, even though he's power forward right now. Like Precious has some good things. Chris Boucher has a couple of nights every month where he's pretty good. The depth is still really bad. They don't have almost any depth. They haven't gotten better in those regards. There's a lot of tension internally. Look, this team actively was trying to make trades for Anunoby and Gary Trent Jr. from the deadline through free agency, and Masai couldn't get the deals he wanted. And Masai's not going to do a deal that nets him bad. He doesn't do trades just to do trades. He only moves them when he knows he's getting great value. Gary Trent Jr. wants a bigger role. OG Anunoby, by most accounts, Raptors media pushes back on this. I want to note that. If you trust the local beat writers, this is a non-thing. There's a lot of sentiment around the league that OG Anunoby wants a bigger role. And he's never going to get it with not only Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam, but Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes being as good as he was last year and being a rookie of the year changed a lot about the trajectory of this team, of this franchise, the win totals, the futures, everything. Your bet on this team should, I think, in my opinion, should be tied to how good you think Scotty Barnes is. Regardless of how good I think this team is or how not good I think this team is, have been absolutely kicked in the nuts by them enough. I will never bet this team as it is currently constructed. It is a pure stay away from me.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would say with Scotty, if you want to be on this team, if you want to bet the over, it has to be Scotty, because I don't think it has to be Scotty and just belief in Nick Nurse and Masai. That's the over. That's the bet. It's just that. And I can't stop you from making that bet. Those are 3 guys worth betting on if you would like to. But to me, the thing you said about like their minutes, that's why when I say more downside than upside, that's why. That's not me saying I don't believe in Scotty Barnes' upside. No, I believe in the downside of you can't play 40 minutes of like grind it out, hard defense style basketball that the Raptors are going to play. You can't just do that forever. Your body's going to break down. And I think it's great that the Raptors last season really maximized what they could be. They got the best out of what Fred VanVleet could be. They get the best out of Pascal Siakam for at least half the season. He was a superstar and all NBA type player. They're getting the best out of these guys. That's great. But that means that we're already at the ceiling performance. Now, if something goes wrong, what if Pascal goes back to bad Pascal? What if Fred misses a month because he's been playing 70 minutes a night? Like the reasons of where things could go bad, there's more of them and they're easy to find. The minutes have to go down a little bit. And then how do you offset that? Well, Scotty has to be the answer. There's not a different answer than Scotty, or I guess a trade if you think it's going to happen. But I like the idea of this team. I think early in the year we suggested, or maybe I suggested, an over because I thought that there was a possibility they'd be good, and you were pricing in the Durant possibility. Well, that's done now. That's not happening. So, yeah, I think that this team, they're more capped than I expected when I was really looking at them, and I have them. I ended up actually moving them down a tier in my Eastern rankings. They're at the top, but they're at the top of a tier with the Bulls and the Knicks in my basically play-in tier. So I think if you don't want to bet them to make the play-in, they're plus 110. There's no value on that to me. But if you don't like what this team would be in a play-in game, plus 180 to miss the playoffs, I think is maybe a bet you do on this team. I would lean under. It's a team that I kind of feel like I need a fade.
The seeding is 6.5, but it's also juiced over.
Yeah.
You can get a minus 105 at DK on under. I don't mind that bet. If you ask me objectively, just spitballing, 44.5. Is that number soft? My answer is yes. I think the number's a little soft, 44.5 specifically. When you get to 46.5, I do not think it's soft. But 44.5, I think, is a little soft for a team with a top 5 coach. Van Vliet is, I don't know, what would you say, top 12 in point guards, probably, factoring his 3-point efficiency.
Sure. Yeah, I'd probably even go higher, but certainly top 12.
Yeah, I would probably go higher too. Pascal Siakam is an X power forward. Scotty Barnes is an X small forward. It just, you put all this together and you're just like, okay, they got a lot of talent here. They got a lot of talent. It's a well-coached team. They want to win. You said that the KD stuff is over. Is it? It might not be. That's a possibility, but I want to bet on it. I'm staying away. I think that if you want to bet this, the best play is the under 6.5 minus 105, because basically, even if we say Celtics, Sixers, Nets, Bucks are going to be better. That's 4. You would put the Cavs in there. That's 5. It's like, are the Raptors definitely going to be worse than Heat, Hawks, the Bulls? No, like they're in that range. We think that they're probably in that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Raptors finish with a better record than the Heat. I wouldn't be surprised if the Heat won 10 more games than them, but I think they're in that range. And so I think the Raptors can probably, like, under 6.5, I think is a decent number for what.
Well, you would want the over then, right?
Over 6, over 6.5 minus 105.
So my only push to that would be, you can bet to make the play-in at plus 110. And if they're over the 6th seed, then they're in the play-in, unless you think it's a real threat to 11 or lower.
Let's go back. I want the under, because I think they're going to be a top 6 seed.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Well, I don't want that. So we're a little bit on the opposite here. If I did a bet, I think I will probably put a small bet on the under at 46.5, because I think that number is a little too on the high end of what this team should be.